Well, it's game week, finally here. So a lot of work to be done, obviously, before we kick off. Got to have a great week of preparation starting with today to put ourselves in the best position, to be successful, to play our best. FIU, Coach McIntyre does a great job, has throughout his entire career. Extremely dangerous quarterback, dual threat kind of guy that throws the ball well, extends plays, can run, and we'll have to do a great job on him. They've got a deep stable of receivers, returning 2 or 3 receivers and adding more guys from the transfer portal. Impressed with the running backs. The guys all return that they played last season. Experienced in the secondary at safety and corner. A leading tackler returns at linebacker. Specialists are good. Kicker, long snapper, punter, return people. So, it'll be a challenge. And we'll have to play well. And, I want to see us play fast and physical and cut out some of the, mistakes we made in the first 2 scrimmages, penalties, misassignments, things of that nature, but also play smart, disciplined, and poised. So there's a fine line there. But we do want to attack, be that kind of team, and we'll have to play well.
He's on your left from Zach.
Yeah, Coach Burke, does he remind you of any quarterbacks that you've coached? At JMU, any of the ones you guys had there? And how has he kind of developed as a leader? Tyson Lawton was telling us he kind of brought the group together after the first scrimmage and really kind of lit a fire under them. What have you seen from him in the locker room, kind of getting the guys together?
Yeah, he probably reminds me of Cole Johnson, who we had for 2 seasons. His last year with us, he had a tremendous year, had about 41 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, threw for over 4,000 yards. They're both more pocket guys, but still can gain positive yards with their legs. Really smart, heady. He's played a lot of football, respected by his teammates. He's not a real rah-rah guy on the field, which is fine. You lead kind of by example and how you do on the field, but he's got the respect of all his teammates.
Zach and Matt, on your left.
Kurt, I guess just your philosophy as much as anything else on how you handle freshmen that you might want to see get some snaps, where you maybe set the bar for guys that you don't worry about the red shirt, where you maybe set the bar for guys where you think let's give him a couple games and kind of see where he gets to, just how you kind of handle basically the question of whether a guy's going to red shirt, whether he's going to play and retain it, or whether you just sort of throw it off.
Well, the best guys play, really. And we're a veteran team, even though we got a lot of new guys. We got a lot of seniors on this football team. So I wouldn't anticipate seeing many freshmen out there. It doesn't mean you might not see 1 or 2, but it's all based on, who can help us be successful, who's ready to play winning football. So, and things change every week. So right now, going into the first game, I don't see many freshmen have a very significant role in this game.
Matt from top.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, after Nick Kidwell went down, you guys have had a competition there at O-line, not just because of him, but overall, just kind of with, not naming names, but just where are you guys at with that competition? How do you feel about the 5 guys right now that look like they may be the starters?
I feel good. And like I said previous, right now you're looking at Drew Evans, Bray Lynch, and Tyler Stevens. 3 guys for 2 spots, and they all can snap also. So, we'll see who we trot out there for the first series.
Guy on your right from center.
Kurt, you mentioned FIU's quarterback Keon Jenkins. What do you feel like? What do you feel like is the biggest thing that causes trouble, and what is the biggest thing that you can cause trouble for him on Saturday?
Yeah. Well, he's an extremely capable passer, but when he gets out of the pocket, he does a really nice job of extending plays. And even though he's a really good athlete that can tuck it and run and gain a lot of yards, he's going to look to throw first and does a nice job of finding people when he extends plays. And, we got to win up front. our defensive line, and we got to put pressure on him and keep him in the pocket, and not give him much time to throw. We got to get to him, and we need a game from our D line.
Zach, on your right, Zach.
Yeah, Kurt, how with this first game of the season, how much do you kind of see this as an opportunity to set the tone for what this era of Indiana football will look like?
I don't look at it that way. This is the opponent. I'm spending every second of my day with a sense of urgency, trying to help put us in the best position to be as good as we can be. And that's how we look at things as coaches, I think, across the country.
Zach in front and ready.
Coach, we know that you're a process-oriented guy. I'm curious what the process looks like now that it's the game week. You're away from fall camp. How do the meetings go? When does preparation start for next week's opponent? All things like that.
Yeah, well, all eyes are on this opponent and today. And, typical in season, I was up at 4 a.m. and in the office before 5. And, we'll have a light practice tonight. And then tomorrow is first and second down and punt return. And then Wednesday's third down, and Thursday's red area and goal line, 2 minute. And, the mornings and afternoons are spent preparing for those situations, and we put it all together.
Rebby in the back and Danny.
Hey, Coach, yeah. Omar Cooper, been mentioned as a guy, a potential breakout guy, to use the generic phrase. Those of us saw him a lot in high school, saw the potential that was there. What are things he needs to do this season to go from potential to make a few plays here and there to be maybe the breakout guy who really can be consistently an impact guy for you guys?
I think he just has to take what he's done on the practice field and take it onto the game field, which I'm confident he will and can.
Danny, and then Jared.
Yeah, I want to say I think we had Shanahan in here a few weeks ago. We had Walker, we had Lawton, who each mentioned this winning mindset that you have. What kind of shaped, your specific mindset? And, again, for a team that's won, I want to say 9 games the last 3 years, how have you maybe approached trying to, add that here in the culture here?
Well, I think that's well documented at this point, but, we came in and changed the roster, and then you got to change the way people think, the mindset, the culture, the identity of your football team. And I think we've made progress, but you really can't measure it till you play. And then every week, chapter 1 of a 13-page book. So I'm excited to see us play. We do have a lot of work to do before we kick it off. And I'm confident in this team.
Jared on your left and Jim.
You guys have a few cornerbacks down. Do you feel like you have a good grasp of the kind of rotation going into the season opener?
We really don't have a few down. We had one miss some practice time in fall camp, and he's mending very quickly. So we anticipate being close to full strength.
Jim in front and Joe.
Kurt, you've been a part of multiple rebuilds and reboots. Going into this week, I know you'll know a lot more after you play, but how do you feel about your offense now as comparative to other places where you've gone into that first game?
I feel good about our offense. We have a lot of veteran players. We have a veteran quarterback. And, I think we have a chance to be a good offense and defense and special teams. And, but as a coach, you've always got concerns, too. I've never had a team I didn't have concerns about something. But my focus right now is on preparing these guys and help them be as successful as possible Saturday. And, I feel good about the pieces we have in place.
Joe front right and Ken.
We've talked before about how small the margin of error is once the season starts. What aspects through fall camp have you seen lessen that margin, and what parts do you think this week really need some work?
Well, I think we were more consistent in practice as camp went on. We weren't an up and down team. We still have to more consistently get everybody doing what they're supposed to do, assignment-wise, technique-wise. But, part of that is the challenge of camp too, because you install everything. So the plate is very heavy. Now, you get into the first game and that plate will lighten up a little bit. And you want to free them up from thinking too much so they can play fast and let their ability take over.
Ken back right, and Lou.
What have you learned from previous stops along the way or previous new jobs that has helped you make this transition as smoothly as possible? What lessons have you previously learned to help you this year?
Well, I think you just, in every area that matters, leadership, recruiting, development, retention, managing staff, messaging, how to practice, game day philosophy. I think every year you do this, you get a little better. 'Cause you learn lessons. So, this is my 42nd year, I think, in this business. And so there hasn't been much I haven't seen, but I'm sure something will come up one day that I haven't yet.
Lou front left, and Pete.
Hey, Coach. Lou Friedman from the Seymour paper. You mentioned getting up at 4 in the morning and going to the office by 5. How late are you staying?
We'll get off field tonight about 8:15.
So it's a long day.
Yeah.
Has the pace been that way pretty much since you landed in December? You've been going about 1,000 miles an hour, it seems like.
Oh, yeah, and December was very much that way. But we've got some rest banked right now, coaches and players. So, we should have a full tank heading into this week.
Pete back left, and back to his.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about the running backs in general and Lawton in particular, what you expect from them, what you hope to see from them?
Yeah, when you look at Lawton, Black, and Allison, they're all very similar. They can take it between the tackles, they can get the ball outside, they can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they're good pass pro guys. And then Elijah Green is a good back as well as Van Horst. Lawton is capable of making the big play, catches ball extremely well. He's good inside the 10. And, he's got an extra gear. And he's had a lot of success. He's a confident guy and doesn't talk very much. He doesn't say much. But on game day, he shows up and you know who he is.
His on your left.
Do you have both coordinators in the booth, and does the quarterback communication now that they've installed for this year change your kind of game day operations at all, and how you kind of organize everything on the field and in the booth?
Yeah, in the past we've had Mike up in the booth and Bryant's been on the field, still talking through what we'll do this year. I have a pretty good idea what we'll do, but the game day communication can change things somewhat. Whether you huddle a little bit more to start a new series, do you huddle or gather them up on the sidelines? So there's some things I think you'll see across the country that are a little different than last season.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.